Hi, and welcome to Real Life with Jenny. My name is Jenny Senapadaratna. Grab your favorite drink and a snack, and we will get started. Today, I'm switching it up. I have strawberry lemonade, and let me tell you, it is worth the switch. And I have spindle pretzels. Yes, because I have specific pretzels that I like, and that is okay. I'm okay with who I am. Well, let's get real. So, food is such a big deal in life. And when you have food as a main thing in your life, it can either be a stumbling block or it can be something that you look forward to. Like, there's just so many things. I'm one of those people, like, I know by lunchtime, if I don't have an idea of what we're making for dinner, I will stress until dinner on what we're going to have for dinner. Like, I'm always thinking food. Unfortunately, that is just kind of the way my life is. Good or bad, it is just the way things are. So we were on a trip a little while ago, now 2 months, which seems like an eternity ago. But 2 months ago, we were on a trip, and we were doing a ministry trip. And so we use our ministry trips as workcations, is what I call them. I don't know if there's an actual term for them. We all do it, right? So when we were actually in Florida a year and a half ago, something like that, we worked 6 days and then took like 3 to 4 hours, and my husband and I snuck away while my daughter was doing something else, and we went to the beach. And I called it my vacation. Now, that's not technically like a real vacation, right? When you've worked the 6 days and you take 3 to 4 hours and sit at the beach. I don't think that's technically a vacation, but to me it is. So it works. So when we're on vacation or a tripcation or workcation, I don't even know what I call them. It doesn't matter. When we're on our workcations, we will have a service and then we'll have time in between before we get to the next place. And so we move from place to place. Normally, we don't always stay in one spot. It might be better to do that, but I like to see things. Like, I don't want to miss anything in the area that we're in. I was raised with a mom that when you went on vacation, you started at 7 in the morning, you ended at 9 at night, and you miss nothing in between point A and point B. Every museum, every house, every marker that you can find, we saw. And we took a picture by, and we got it in our scrapbooks. Like, you don't miss anything. So I'm trying to be a little less that way, but it's still kind of in my DNA to, like, make sure you don't miss anything. And my poor husband's like, can we just go to the beach and just sit there? Anyway, when you're on these kind of trips, it is really difficult to eat the way you eat at home. It's so tough because you're looking for breakfast, and most hotels, their breakfasts are getting a little sketchy. After this stint, their breakfast can be a little like, you can have a stale donut or a stale muffin or yogurt. Like, some places are pretty fancy and have yogurt. Not everybody everywhere does. And I don't like yogurt, so that doesn't help me a whole lot. So you're on these trips and you're kind of stuck with the kind of food that you can eat according to what kind of town you're in, what city you're in, and what your financial ability is at that time. And we are very cheap on vacations or workations. Okay, we're just really cheap in general. Like, let's just be honest. People are like, oh, you're frugal. Like, you can put all these fancy words on it. Like, no, I'm just cheap. I don't like to spend money, especially on eating out. It is something I don't really enjoy. Because I like cooking at home. Like, yes, it drives me crazy, and some days I complain about it. But really, I like to know what's going in my food. And so I cook almost everything from scratch. And that's just the way things are for me. And I love that because I know what's going in my food. Anyway, so we're on this workcation. And my daughter turns to me and she's like, Mom, I'm kind of thinking I'm going to go sugar-free until Halloween. And I was like, oh, wow, that's kind of a long time from now. This is mid-August kind of situation. end of August, I suppose. And I was like, that's a long time to go sugar free. And she was like, well, I'm really thinking about that. That's what I want to do. I'm kind of sick of sugar and I'm feeling, sugared, over sugared. And I get that. Like, you are over sugared when you're not at home eating. Everything is sugar. You're like, let's stop for a snack. It's a sugary snack. It that's just what happens. You don't go into the gas station. You're like, I think I'm going to have an apple. And, you're not choosing healthy things in the gas stations. It's just not what's happening unless you're my husband, who is amazing and is always eating apples from the gas station. Even though it drives me crazy because I can buy the same kind of apples at Walmart for a whole bag for one apple. But that's okay. It's fine. Jenny, calm down. It's not that big of a deal. Anyway, so she tells me this, and I'm like, you know what? Can I pray about joining you? And not necessarily because I was like, it needs to be something spiritual, but I'm like, that's kind of a big commitment for me. I love having tea with a little snack on the side, and it is not always the healthiest little snack. I love tea and like some Little Debbie's, or tea and a scone, or tea. I mean, like, can you think of a sugary treat? Yes, I love them. So I was like, I really don't want to commit to 2 months of sugar-free without really thinking about it. So when I'm like, I'm going to pray about it, was really my like, I need to take some time and really think about this. And I'm just going to put that out there sometimes. When you say you're going to pray about it, first of all, you better pray about it. Like, don't use that as an excuse just to kind of like, I'm very, very cautious of saying, I will pray for you, that I will actually pray for them. I do not say that unless I'm going to do it. But there is times that you say, I'm going to pray about that, because you need to pray about it and take some time to think about and process through. And the best person to process it through is, you're right, with God. So I was like, let me pray about it. And so I spent a little bit of time just thinking and praying and like, is this a good idea? And so then I brought it to my husband, and I'm like, Sam is thinking about doing a sugar fast and not do sugar for 2 months. And I'm kind of thinking about joining her. And he was like, sure, I'll do it with you. I don't think he took the time. He just said, sure, I'll do it with you. Because he's just that kind of guy. He's amazing. Anyway, so we decided to go sugar free. And I will tell you, who knew how difficult this would be? Like, you're all like, of course it is, Jenny. Duh. You eat Little Debbie's. Of course it's going to be hard for you. It has been so hard. I was like, this is going to be a snap. Now, I will be honest. I still have sugar in my tea, because there is no way I'm going to drink tea without my sugar. And I really didn't want to have to give up tea. I just decided it was like, there was nothing gonna, because I wasn't doing it for any spiritual reasons. I was doing it so I had more control over what was going in my body. And really, at this point, like, to see if I could do it. And so I've learned a couple things on this sugar fast that have been interesting. Number one, boy, do you eat sugar. Like, who knew how often I was like, I could really go for some sugar. So we've been eating fruits and vegetables and things that are not like high sugar. So like, I kept cereal, like, to be completely honest, all my cereals are lower in sugar anyway. But I kept cereal because I was like, I really don't want to give up, my Raisin Bran. Now some of you just went, oh my gosh, you have any idea how many sugars are in Raisin Bran? Yes, I know, but it's not Trix. So we're okay. We just made a compromise. This is not a lifestyle change. This was just, let's see what happens. Anyway, I had no idea how my life had really been controlled by sugar. First of all, sugar is what has told me that I'm done eating. That has been the way that, like, I'm like, I eat and then I have a little dessert and now my body goes, oh, good, you're done. And I had no idea that was kind of what was happening. It was just what I've always done. And now I'm going, I don't have that stop. Like, my body's like, oh, wait, aren't you still hungry? Like, time that I've had to make some conscious decisions that have been very interesting to me, that maybe the rest of you are like, yeah, Jenny, that's kind of the way things are. But I've had to really listen and be careful at what I'm doing, because I can so often just go along with life. And that is really what this has taught me the most. Not necessarily like what has sugar, what doesn't have sugar, because I shared this with somebody and they were like, oh, did you know this had sugar and this had sugar and this had sugar? And I'm like, no, I did not, but I wasn't stressed about those things. I know my peanut butter has sugar in it, but I'm not eating cups and cups of that peanut butter. I'm not eating cups of it. I'm eating a teaspoon, maybe 2 teaspoons if I'm getting really wild, because I'm not a huge fan of peanut butter. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. But it wasn't about that for me. It wasn't about losing weight, which I have not. Just an FYI, 2 months later, 2 months in, I have not lost weight. My husband has, which is great, but I think he kind of thinks about it, a diet or taking, and he loses weight just by like thinking about it. Like, he's like, oh, look, my metabolism is working higher. Like, woohoo! That's not how my body works. But what I've really learned in this whole scenario is what I was doing to my body without even thinking. We can go through the motions of life so often and not even think about what we're doing. We're on autopilot. So many things in our lives are on autopilot. And food for me is definitely one of those. Just on autopilot. Do I really like this food? No, I really don't, but I'm eating it because it's here. I buy it because I bought it last week. Like, I just don't even think about it. And this sugar fast for me has really made me think, like, what do I really like? Like, if I'm going to add sugar back in, which, yeah, of course I'm going to, I'm sure, but I really don't know that I want to add the same kinds of things back in, because I was just eating them because I ate them before and then they were done, and so then you just buy new ones without even thinking. It just became more of a habit than something I actually enjoyed. So this has made me really rethink, what do I enjoy? What is something that I actually like? I know, it's shocking. Maybe only for me. I don't know, but we can get on autopilot in so many parts of our lives and not even think about, am I enjoying this? I'm just doing it because that's what I'm supposed to do. I have chosen black outfits because that's what I chose, and I just haven't gone off of them. Do I look better in color? You know what? I don't know. I have no idea what colors actually look good on me and what colors don't look good on me. Like, I haven't gone down that path since I was in high school, when we had like a color matching lady come in for home ec. Oh, wow, that brings me back. Anyway, and I don't even remember what she said. I remember there was something about seasons. That's all I remember. Something about spring and autumn and winter. And I don't know what any of that means. But I've gone on autopilot when it comes to my clothing. I've gone on autopilot when it comes to my food. And honestly, sometimes I go on autopilot when it comes to my relationships and my relationship with God. And I just want to encourage you that fasting, in the truest sense of it, is giving something up to focus on God, right? That's the truest sense, in my personal, humble, no idea of what it really means. That's what it means to me. That when I have taken away sugar for the last 2 months, I really have been able to spend time going, what is actually important to me when it comes to food? And there have been many times, I will be completely honest with you, that there have been many times that I circled around a Dairy Queen. Now, that is being very vulnerable to you, and because I'm like, Lord, I want a Dairy Queen. Like, I'm not even a huge ice cream fan, but I need a Dairy Queen. Like, just drove around it and drove around it and drove around it. Lord, I need your strength, because it's not necessarily that I can't have one, but why am I breaking this thing that I've made with my family for an ice cream? They're not going to be upset. They're not going to care. But why is this so important to me? Why has this become so important to me? And it's just that that moment that I've been relying on God. Like, God, I have been on autopilot, that I'm having a horrible day and I end up in the Dairy Queen line without even thinking about it, without even processing through why I'm in the Dairy Queen line. I'm just there and it makes me feel better. And so many of us, maybe you are not a sweet person, like maybe you're a sweet person, but you don't like sweets, but you have something that you go to without even thinking about it. And this has, for me, really awakened what I needed, and I needed more of God. And I needed to stop running to an automatic fix. And you can't see my air quotes, right? But an automatic fix, we all have them. We all have something that we do to fix whatever we're walking through or help us have a bad day. And we're just on autopilot. And I'm going to ask you this week to take it off of autopilot and see what's really going on with your life. What have you kind of put into cruise control that maybe you need to take off and go, is this something I really enjoy? Is this something that's really helping the situation? Is this really necessary? And I would like to say some things are necessary. Once you take them away, you realize it's okay to add them back in, but maybe in a different way. I don't know. And I don't know what that is for you. I'm not going to make that judgment. I know for me, I have learned that I automatically go to sugar. I automatically do. I'm having a bad day and I'm going to eat sugar. I'm going to have a bowl of ice cream. I'm going to, I could start going down the list of the things that I shouldn't be eating that I am because I'm on autopilot and I need to feel better. And this 2-month fast that my daughter came up with because she just wanted to not have to eat out anymore, really, has really been an aha moment for me. And I hope that if you take some time and take it off of autopilot and take it off of cruise control, whatever you want to call it, and say, why am I doing this? Is it to fix it? Does it really fix it? Is it something I really need? That maybe that could be a good thing for you. We'll see. Well, you can find us at Real Life with Jenny on Instagram and on Facebook. I have a Facebook page, and a Facebook group. The group is private, so you can enter there, Real Life with Jenny, or the page is Real Life with Jenny Podcast. You can also find me at christconnection.cc/Jen. All of my information is there. I'd love to connect with you if you have any questions, have any prayer requests, or you want to set up a speaking engagement, whatever you're looking for. christconnection.cc/Jen. That's where you can find that. Well, this week, as we all step off the gas, take a breath and realize that we're on autopilot or auto cruise control, that's what it is. I pray that you see what changes can be made and just maybe find some new things that actually you love. Have a great day.